Now, I will admit that I was ready to get my lit pitchfork and put on some very baggy dressing to burn this album to a crisp, or this EP, I should say, as Wale have not been the most consistent artist, of course. You know, he kind of seemed like a Drake who couldn't really sing a tune to save his damn life. To tell you the truth, it just seemed like this guy, he just didn't have the power and the magic and the charisma, and he picks good beats, but not really that much. I like when he has features to actually sing his songs because I don't find his voice very attractive in a vocal standpoint, to tell you the damn truth. But yeah, this newest little EP he has, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. But allow me to give you a little bit of detail into Wale's background. Now, of course, he was signed with Rick Ross, and he's yelling out MMG, and of course, he seems like to be somewhat a conscious person, but he was mostly into that R&B shit, which really I heard him with Miguel, and that's what made me fall in love with his music. When he has guest vocalists really sing his tunes, it's really just make the perfect combination. But he's kind of like J. Cole. He wants to sing his own shit and just have himself featured as the single singer, rapper, probably even producer at some points. But yeah, which really make his songs lag. But I'm just gonna get into the track list. Alright, so you have the song, the whole album, well, the EP starting out with a song called Negotiate, which of course is next to a song like Salary Cap. So I really like the whole idea or the concept with that, where Wale, he does a reference to ghostwriting, which I'm pretty sure is a sly shot at Drake, you know, to tell you. But he has this one quotable where he says, "Don't be confused with being great and being famous," you know, which I really thought that that was a very deep and good message for a song. That's a nice quotable. Also, he talks about artists blowing up and forgetting them really then quick. And also, he does this whole Shyne reference to like Shyne, the early rapper, and he says numbers getting as low as Shyne, which, of course, you know, kind of ironic because his last album was named Shyne and his numbers was pretty damn low. But maybe that was a clever pun, like he's getting as low as Shyne when it comes to sales. But there is other head nogging, head scratching quotes on here. He says niggas don't like you unless you're doing nigga shit, which would have really hit a more impact if he didn't really use the term nigga. That's like me saying blacks don't like you unless you're doing black shit, which sounds like, which doesn't sound that bad, but still, it's just like I wish he could have phrased that in a differing way to actually hit. Like, I get what he's saying. Like, a lot of people who listen to hip hop don't really like you unless you perpetuate the negativity of hip hop and shit like that. But it doesn't really sound right when you use the term nigga. It just makes you look a little bit hypocritical. Also, on hand, he also has a reference to like Legend, which was a song by, of course, Drake. So yeah, um, but overall, Negotiate, solid track. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Now you have Salary Cap, which of course opens up with a sample of Colin Kaepernick, which was pretty cool. And Colin Kaepernick was talking about the soldiers, of course, which was pretty awesome, and how they come home and to a undeserving country. I really thought that that was cool. And of course, Wale uses a lot of tried and true kind of what you call it, cliche black isms. Like, of course, he says that he's black pride forever and that black is beautiful, which is all good, like, things to say. And even though it's pretty cliched at this point, not that many artists are just going full in depth into just using these terms, which really is pretty cool. So I have to give him that. He also referenced his child being a beautiful brown young lady, which is also pretty cool. And also, he referenced that black will never go out of style, which, black goes with everything. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to give the song a 4. It's pretty cool. Now you have Body, 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 which again, he returns back. And this is pretty odd. This is like the only song where he returns back to that R&B bullshit that he usually does. And it says that it's a freestyle, but it seems more or less like a planned verse, chorus song structure. So this is just the odd man out in the group. So yeah. So he says claims like Nielsen gave him a million, or at least I think a million sales combined, but then he says that he did it independent when I know he got dropped by a major label, so I don't think that's true. Also, he does a reference to his song PYT going platinum, so I guess that maybe could be the reference to a billion that he's talking about. I mean, but still, he was still under a contract of a record label. And then he does another reference to how, even though his album sold low, he did it without a ghostwriter. So, of course, maybe that's another sly shot to Drake yet again. He also does a reference to Mace and Harlem World, which, of course, was a banging album, like, to tell you the truth. And Harlem's not the only town that gets love. He gives a shout out to Baltimore and Chicago, which of course was big Black Lives Matter focus points. I know Baltimore was. They don't really give a fuck about Chicago like that, I can tell. But he also does a reference to Black Lives Still Matter to him, which, is pretty cool. Overall, I'm going to give the song a 2.5. It's one of the more weaker tracks on the album. And then you get the final song, Cassius, which was pretty cool song. It samples Muhammad Ali talking about George Foreman and how he's going to kick his ass and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. I like the little play he does with Muhammad Ali's former name, which is Cassius. He does this whole reference to where he says he's gonna be where the cash is, which was a pretty cool thing that he did. He also says that black niggas hate black niggas, which of course I can maybe feel the sentiment what he meant by that. And he also referenced tiki torches, which of course was the white supremacist march, which happened in, I believe, North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, where a whole bunch of people, and I think like 3 people died, like 2 officers and 1 female got ran over. Like, yeah, that was pretty bad. So, yeah, I like that he referenced that. Like, let's not have that idea faded, but at least Donald Trump called out, I guess, both sides. He called out Nazis and I guess civilians or Antifa, whatever. All right. And also, he does a reference to him being left handed, which is something I did not know. He referenced it as Southpaw, which is pretty cool. And he also does a reference to how rappers are Uncle Toms who can just find the flow or find a rhyme, which is pretty cool. Overall, I like the song Cassius. It pretty much wraps up the whole entire EP, which is basically about black power except for body, 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 which is nearly not a freestyle nor really a track that should be on here. It's kind of R&B, But overall, I'm gonna give it a 5. So how did you all feel about this new Wale EP? I thought it was pretty good. It's one of the best projects he put out in years. So please like, subscribe, and share this video. Alright?